Thank you, Brian, and thank you, Lydia. And I'm very excited to be taking on as president and also be working with this new board. I'd like to thank Clara Chu, who was the past president, and also like to welcome Abebe Rorisa and all members of the new board. And my thoughts go back to 2008 in Columbus, Ohio, when I joined ASIS as a student member. And as part of various meetings that I had, because I was on the job market, and I met the then dean of Simmons, then college, Michelle Clunan, and who's right here in one of the central tables. And also many of you as part of the interviews that I did then. And not knowing that one fine day I'd be addressing you all from this podium. But I'd like to thank a number of people who either encouraged me or in other ways inspired me. And some names come to mind: Deborah Burrow, Donald Case, Sam Hastings, Eileen Abels, Michelle Clunan, Sandra Ardeles, Harry Bruce, Andy Dillon, who's here in this room as well, I think, Candy Schwartz, Dania Bilal, who's also here, and Cassidy Sugimoto, Michael Leach, Michael Buckland is here, Nadia Saidi, Lynn Conaway, Diane Sonnenwald, Bob Williams, Dick Hill, Steve Harden was here as well, a wonderful gentleman, Tony Carbo, Deborah Swain, and Tom Wilson and Brenda Derwin. I had the pleasure of interviewing them recently, and it's just been amazing. And all the people that I cannot name, but all of you have been such wonderful friends and colleagues, and I learn from you every single day. So in my past roles at ASIST, when I was the chapter assembly director, or when I was the chair of the membership committee and a member of the past board, we spent a lot of time brainstorming. And I'm glad that many of the ideas that we had since are either implemented or have found their way into the strategic plan. So when it came the time for me to write a position statement when I was running for president-elect, one of the things I decided was that I was not interested in further brainstorming, because one of the things which was frustrating was that we spent a lot of time brainstorming and not enough time implementing. So even now, when I'm asked this question about what is my vision for ASIST, and one of the things I wanted to say is that I do not want to have a personal vision or a presidential initiative for that reason. We want to have a sense of continuity, and we have an excellent strategic plan now. And it's in its second iteration of strategic plan since the one we had previously. And we have had a lot of success in the past years in having that strategic plan move forward. And in some of the things that remain to be achieved, we want to move forward on those, rather than me coming here and saying that I want to do this another big new thing, which might again fall the way down the cracks. So there are some of the things which are part of the tactics of the strategic plan, which hopefully will make more progress towards that in this coming year, would be things like having more podcasts, which will be taken up by the Professional Development Committee, and having a 24-hour conference. And that, I think, is something that we have to brainstorm more when we have the board meeting on Wednesday, because this meeting in some ways has been a challenge, because we've tried to do both face-to-face and an online kind of a meeting. And sometimes when you try to cater to two separate audiences, you satisfy neither. So we have to make sure that how do we handle this going forward, and we have to think of how it plays out next year and beyond. And the publications committee would be carrying forward excellent work which they did over the past year in trying to bring back ARIST, and then Information Matters. Chirag is right here, he's leading that initiative. And also the thought of a possible new journal, which is tentatively might be called like IASIST or any other name that we finalize. But there are all of these initiatives which are beginning to take shape, and we have to make sure that they succeed, and we have metrics and measurements to and try and help them succeed, and also to assess them in a regular manner. And one of the things that we've been doing at board meetings is to take a stock of the progress in the strategic plan and in the tactics that both Brian and Lydia have been great and trying to ensure that the board takes a look at them and follows through with that every time. And the Awards and Honors Committee will be talking about the fellowship program and how we can launch that and to make that successful. Clara Chu has kindly agreed to take over in a role as the chair or the co-chair of the DEIA task force, which is diversity, equity, inclusion, as well as accessibility. And we want to make sure that that succeeds, and she has a strong team to succeed in that. And we have been able to successfully populate all our committees. And thank you for many of you who have volunteered for many different roles and for the great work that you have done in the past and that you continue to do. And Dirk Lewandowski is the conference chair for this coming year, and he has a great team that is lined up to help in this in next year's conference in 2022 in Pittsburgh. And in one of my roles, and that's also part of the strategic plan, I'd like to have more relationships with allies, associations around the world. And I have a new leader who is Alicia Takaoka, who will be working with the chapter directors as well as the SIG chairs to try to identify associations around the world. And then we can think of what kinds of relationships that we can establish with them. And one of the things which I would like, and Lydia and I, we went to an exceptional boards conference earlier this month, and earlier last month, actually, because it's November 1st now. And one of the things we learned in that conference was this idea of having a succession planning and to make sure that the association continues even if something was to happen to someone, and God forbid. And so one of those things is also we would like to have that in place, and we have a template that they shared with us. So that would also be something to work towards this coming year. But really, apart from all of these things, which are initiatives, and I feel that they're in a good place because they're a part of the strategic plan in the directions. A number of things that we had thought of in the previous years, when in my initial years in ASIS, is thinking about having a great website, or thinking about having a system where we could archive all the documents from one committee to the next. We have iConnect for that now, though it's not fully understood by all of us, but the system does provide that sort of an initiative or that sort of knowledge management and knowledge sharing mechanisms over the years. So there are various things that are in place and in a good shape now, a place where all the initiatives and events done by the various chapters and SIGs and committees and overall in the association, those are all part of the regular briefings that goes out to members. And I think with information matters now coming in, we'll have a chance for even non-members to get to know about ASIS much better in different parts of the world. And the regional associations, the South Asia chapter, the Africa chapter, and the New Middle East chapter, and all the chapters that are coming on, are taking our membership and bringing the ASIS names to different regions of the world. And we've had a lot of success on that in the past few years in trying to have a very active slate of people who are very interested in ASIS and all the good work that we do. But one of the things that I'm personally interested in, and I'm glad that I spoke to Andy Dillon at last night's reception, and I asked him that, what do you think I should do as president? And he said, just talk to people. And I think that's it. That I just want to make sure that every one of us who is a member of this association feels valued and feels listened to. We may not always be able to implement all the things and all the great ideas that we have also, or solve all the problems that you have, but at least we can make sure that you do not feel neglected or do not feel unacknowledged or unheard. So because I feel that we have an innate need as human beings to be connected to each other. And when we connect with ourselves, we connect with other people, and we feel ourselves as having a space for us in this world. And we're all working really hard, and especially in the past 1 or 2 years with COVID coming in, all of us, I think, are overstretched in many, many different ways. And in many of our conversations this year, I was talking to Abebe, and he talked about like how he's not getting enough sleep. And a lot of people are doing that. They're working really hard. We are looking good before other people, but we're really struggling in just trying to make things meet. I was talking to Steve briefly and about all the good work he does for JSIS, and he says that I'm struggling, right? And all these things we do, like every time trying to find reviewers, trying to do all these million things that we do. There's a lot of inner struggle behind it, just showing up and doing all the work that we do every single day. So all that I'd want to do as president is to try to be more available to people, and to let people know that I'm just a phone call away, just a Zoom call away, or just an email away, and to be a friend to every single person. I think and that's all I would really want to be. And one of the things which I'm trying to do or hoping to do is to be on the calendars of various chapters and try to attend those meetings, and maybe have emails and Zoom calls with members, have office hours where I could be there and members of the board could be there. And again, try to create more mentorship mechanisms where people feel that they are a mentor to someone and also a mentee for someone. And I think at this point, in terms of now, I would say my good friend, because I used to call her Professor Derwin, and she tells me that call me Brenda. And she wrote something, in a sense, making methodology where when you think of the actor or a person or a user, when you think of the way we define the person in our information science and analysis literature. And she says that an actor is a body, mind, heart, and spirit with a past history, a present reality, and future dreams or ambitions. And I think that's all who we are, even though we have different categories of members as student members and distinguished members and all of those various member categories in between, but we really are humans, and we really are people who are just trying to belong somewhere, trying to stand in line and also trying to stand out of line and try to make some difference and fit into this world as we navigate this. So earlier this year, in May, I wrote a poem called A Bucket Full of Happiness. I'd like to end by reading that poem out to you. I feel like taking a bucket full of happiness and pouring it all over you. You, yes, you who is dealing with pain. I want to show you the cherry blossoms and the rainbow. I want to teach you how to talk freely, to laugh heartily, and to sing your heart out. I want to hug you tight and to tell you everything will be all right. You who is dealing with loss, you who is a prisoner of your own words, you who is holding on to grudges, you who is letting a judgment banish a loved one from your heart, you who is weighed by hurt feelings and injured relationships. I want to help you forgive and embrace and to heal and mend. I want to help you untangle the knots of your heart. You who is overworked, whose knees given to the weight of expectations, you who is grappling with chronic pain, you who bravely gets up to face one more day, you who feels tired with years catching up, with thinning hair and wrinkling skin, and not the best of health. I want to make you a bench by the flowers and the stream for you to rest and rejuvenate, and sit by your side to make you feel better. You who is tired of faking and pretending and putting on a mask to look strong. I want to tell you that I won't judge you, and I'll protect you, and that it's okay to be vulnerable and to be seen. You who has no arms coming forward to help you, I want to tell you that you are enough. You who is tired of waiting and waiting some more, you who is feeling misunderstood and unloved or abandoned, I want to tell you that love will nourish you and love will keep you together. So cheer up, my friend, sit up and smile. It's a bright new day here at ASIS&T, ready to greet and love you. If there's no one else for you, I'm right here now for you. Thank you.